All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. So you just picked up a Sony A6300. You're still not sure what settings to use for filmmaking. Stay tuned. I'm about to tell you my best settings, the settings that's been working for me, the settings that so many has been asking for.
Tiene un culito ahí que la acabo de testear. Pero en bajita, ella no es de frontear. Ella es calladita, pero para el sexo es atrevida. Yo sé marihuana y bebida, gozándose la vida como es. Ella es calladita, pero para el sexo es atrevida.
All right, guys, so jumping straight into today's video. First and foremost, let me apologize for the downgrade in quality. Just right now, I'm only using one camera, so I had to jump straight into my iPhone and record this footage so I can present it to you guys here. But starting off, when it comes to performances, we always shoot at 4K. All right, we want to make sure that we always maintain the highest quality possible. And thankfully with the A6300, we have 4K capabilities. So when it comes to performance, always remember to shoot at 4K. Now, when you're going to shoot slow motion or B-roll, all right, so for our next thing to look at focus area, I always keep this at wide. For me, it's giving me the best result. I have tried zone, but with zone, I was missing some shots, and later tried out wide, and that to me has just been giving me the best one. So I keep it there at wide. All right, so autofocus drive speed and auto track sensitivity, I keep those both at normal. I found that to be the best options to optimize your autofocus experience with the Sony A6300. When the talent or the artist starts to step out, especially when they're moving around, the camera's really good at tracking autofocus, but this, leaving them both at normal, at least for me, it gives it that natural pull feel. So it looks like somebody might be pulling focus. Rather, if I switch these out to like high, or I switch this one out to fast, then the camera's going to be pulling focus. It's going to be hunting a lot quicker, and that's just going to kind of give it away that that the camera's doing its work. So, but that's not what I want to use. I want to always keep it at normal, and that's where I leave it at. ISO is going to be subjective, but I will always keep it at its native at 800 if I can. If I can't because I don't have enough light, I'll try to add as much light as possible. If not, I don't go past 4,000. I don't. If the shot requires me to go above 4,000, I'm either going to add more light, I'm either going to bring in the light closer, I'm just not going to shoot it or just try to think of something. Now, if worse comes to worse and I need to push it, listen, guys, I'm not going to push it more than 6,400. That's going to introduce grain. It's going to introduce noise. It's not going to look best. So, yes, native ISO on the 6,300 is 800. And if you have to push it, trust me, guys, don't push it more than 4,000. If you have to, worst comes to worst, then your most 6,400. But past that, guys, don't even shoot it. Figure something out. Rearrange lights. Add more lights. But yeah. 4,000 below is always going to be your best option. 800 ISO, it's going to be optimal. All right, so metering mode, I keep mine at multi. This is very important, especially when using or shooting S-Log2. That way you can always make sure that you don't overexpose. With S-Log2, keep in mind that you do have to expose 2 stops over to get the best quality image here. So talking about metering mode here, if you look right here, right now ISO 800, we're at a 0.7. So just to make sure that you always get the best one, you want to make sure that it hits 2. If it's blinking a little bit, that's probably going to be your best option. Most likely, that's going to be your best option. So just make sure to keep it there when you're looking at your metering mode. Now your white balance, 90% of the time, white balance, I like to dial it in. I will use auto white balance if I'm shooting indoors where the light changes are very minimal or they just don't happen. So auto white balance is going to be your best friend in those situations. But even though I might still be inside and I like to come down and come here to customize my temperature, and I'll dial it in 5600, which is your natural daylight temperatures. I mean, like I said, I'll dial it into the right settings to where it needs to be. All right, so picture profile, probably one of the most asked questions I've ever been asked, or one of the most questions asked when it comes to the Sony A6300 and trying to look for those best settings. I right now use PP7, which is your standard picture profile 7, which is your standard S-Log2 S gamut. I don't really change anything here. I really don't touch anything. I just make sure that my levels here when it comes to detail is at -7. But then again, this is your standard. So you can either you can either come back and reset everything. I'm not going to reset it now because I just whatnot it's set. But even if you reset it, it's everything's standard. This is standard. Your detail is going to be a -7. And this is what I use. This is what I love to use. I learn to use it every day. And keep in mind, with PP7 S-Log2, this is going to give you the flattest image possible, which is going to give you more control of your color grade and your edits when it's time to color grade your footage and everything like that. So if you're looking for the most flattest image, S-Log2 is going to be your best friend. All right, so shout out to Dennis Film here. I was having a little trouble when I first started using the Sony A6300 to where I was using the smile face detection on. I had left it on, and I was noticing that it kind of sucked because I would point it into a face, but I was missing a lot of shots. It would just, oh man, I used to hate it. I watched one of Dennis's films and he talked about the smile face detection, and he told me that he turned this off. So I started taking it off. And rapidly, I noticed that the camera was just working a lot better, especially in music videos, since the artist and the talent is moving up and down. Depending on the song, of course, if he's moving fast or he's moving side to side, smile face detection, as soon as he moves his face, the camera loses focus and the camera starts hunting. And you'll see it moving in and out, in and out, in and out. And until the camera doesn't pick up the face again, it's lost footage. It's pretty much dead. I mean, out of focus images. You'll be sitting there thinking, how the heck I'm gonna, clean this up, or what can I put in between to replace that? But smile face detection, I keep that off. It's helped me out a lot. Zebras is your best friend, especially when you're shooting outside. I keep mine at 100+. That helps me avoid any possibilities of overexposing or just blowing out the image, the highlights. And of course, also helping me with the color and making sure everything is just balanced when I'm shooting. Now, marker display, I keep this on all the time. Marker display is pretty much going to give you these two bars at top, since, of course, when we shoot music videos, we keep these bars on, and this is something that I'll add in post. But as long as I shoot in between these bars, then that gives me a good idea of what to expect when I import into the program and start editing, and I add the black bars, then everything is going to be right where it needs to be. Now, lately, I've been shooting a lot manually. When I first got the camera, autofocus was my best friend. That was all I knew. But man, once you get into the world and you really just start playing around with the camera, manual focus is by far the best thing. Now, with the A6300, unfortunately, it doesn't have in-body stabilization. So that doesn't, that kind of sucks because it doesn't, you're going to have jitters, right? You move, you're going to have jitters. You're not going to have the most stabilized footage. But trust me, when you get a chance, play with manual focus, and I guarantee you'll love it. All right, and last but not least, gamma assist, major key when you're shooting an S-Log2. This is going to help you identify and set your exposure correctly when you're shooting S-Log2, because remember, S-Log2 is the flattest profile that you can get with the Sony A6300, and this is going to help you get the colors right, get the exposure right, and make sure everything is just well balanced. So when you bring it into the program, everything looks as clean and crisp as possible. But here are the settings I use, guys. Hopefully this video was a huge help to a few of you guys. But keep in mind, this is just one part of shooting videos and making things happen. You didn't have to bring it into the program, and you have to color grade. And that's a whole different world. That's a whole different topic and video on its own. But if this is something you guys like, just stay tuned. I'm going to make a video of how I color grade and the process that I take. All right, guys, so if you have any questions about the Sony A6300, if there's something specific you want to know, or any techniques or any tips and tricks, please let me know. I'll make sure to make a video on a topic like that, or hit me up directly. I'll put all my information down below so you can shoot me a DM and we can talk about what you guys got in mind, all right?